Well, unfortunately, a lot of people reduce the cross to a message of individual salvation. And with this understanding, people will still appreciate community, but it's just another consumer good that I use for my own individual journey of self-discovery. But when we look to the scriptures, we recognize that the cross is a message to us as individuals, but also to us as a community. I like to think of the vertical and horizontal implications of the cross. Just like you have the vertical beam of the cross, the horizontal bar of the cross. So we are reconciled to God through the death of Christ, but we are also reconciled to one another through the death of Christ. And we have to be able to recognize that the horizontal is not just an implication of the cross, it's intrinsic to Christ's work on the cross. And so I think that this horizontal aspect of the cross includes both how we understand one another as the community of Christ and how we relate with the world. I'll just give you a few examples. When we think about community, we've been adopted into the family of God. We were rebels who have been made sons and daughters and been given a place at the table. And so as a community, we are shaped by the cross of Christ. We love as we have been loved. We serve as we have been served. We forgive as we have been forgiven. We are called to be the community of the cross. But again, the cross shapes not only the way that we love one another, but also the way that we love and serve our cities and the world. So I'll give you two practical examples. One is in the area of race. The cross speaks to this. In Ephesians chapter 2, it talks about how Christ died on the cross, and in doing so, tore down the dividing wall of hostility between Jews and Gentiles and made us one. So the cross removes that barrier, brings us together, making us a multicultural family united by grace. That means there's no place for racism in the cross, and that we are called to be a people who sees the dignity that God has given every single person, regardless of their ethnicity or race. Another example is politics. The cross speaks to how we approach politics as followers of Jesus. People forget that the crucifixion was a political event. The Roman government crucified Christ. The sign over his head said, King of the Jews, a political title. And so we remember that Jesus is our Lord who laid down his life for us. And so we are a kingdom, but we are a cross-shaped kingdom. As people of the cross, we are a people who put kingdom over country. The gospel is political, but it's not partisan. And so our commitment is ultimately to Christ and his kingdom over our country or over any political party. It also shapes the way that we think of power. Jesus was a king who laid down his life. Christians should be people who understand authority and power, but use it to bless and serve others. That's a little bit of what it means to embrace the vertical and horizontal dimensions of the cross.